Welcome to Straight Outta Jersey. Today's podcast is brought to you by Ace Sunglasses. Go to acesunglasses.com.au to purchase some of the best shades around. Use promo code MRG30 and receive 30% off selected brands. That's Ace Sunglasses.
Straight Outta Jersey with Jersey Jay-Z. With the freak of New York, Gregg Valentino. And your host, Jersey Jay-Z.
What's up, Greg? Another Thursday. We are live. What's up, brother?
What are you doing, Joseph? I'm just talking to the ghosts that are here. The ghosts of RX. Are you here with us now? Did you die in this house? My mother just hit me in the back of the head. My mother died in my house, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You told me that, yeah. The dude, 1983, says, we got Bush, 70s Bush, baby.
There you go. Now you got it. We got 70s Bush. There you go, the dude.
Miss Bell, 1388. What's up, guys? What's up, Miss Bell?
What's up, Miss Bell?
Hey, Greg, so did you see that Liver King is now, he said he's not going to stop with Joe Rogan. He's going to continue doing it, which doesn't make sense to me.
That's the stupidest fucking thing. I think he thinks that eventually Joe Rogan's going to get pissed and want to fight him or something. I don't know what the hell he thinks. But it's not going to happen.
No, it's not. I don't think nothing's going to happen. It's just going to
He actually looks like an asshole doing this shit. I don't understand what's wrong with him.
Ridiculous, man. Something's wrong with him.
I don't understand that. I think he's got a mental thing. I don't know. Let him go near Rogan and then they fucking arrest him. And then he goes to jail, not just get locked up and, then get released,
Yep, exactly. Carlos Suarez says, what was Dave thinking bringing on that guy? Shaking my head.
Well, the kid's a nice kid. He's a nice kid, the kid Nick. But the thing is, all that, I don't believe in all that shit. You know what I mean? You're not talking to the. Do you ever notice that the dead can see? I think it's I see somebody with the letter G, an uncle. Was your father's name? What did you know? Would you have an uncle? I had an Uncle George. Oh, that must be a George. He's saying that you used to run around when you were a kid. Wait, how come you could hear that, but you can't get his name right or hear who he is? You know what I mean? It's all bullshit. I don't believe any of that.
Yeah, I know. Grunge 77 says he keeps walking on thin ice with law enforcement. Yes, Liver King, man.
I guess he doesn't care. I don't know what the fuck the thing is with that. You know what's funny? You're gonna actually start. You know what it is? He might be drowning. I don't know if he's losing his fans and shit like that. But when the more you do that shit, the more you wiggle, you're caught in fucking quicksand. And you start wiggling, it just makes you sink deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. My brother George is there. He says, like a surprise. Like a surprise.
What are you doing, George?
Yeah, you heard about Ronnie, obviously. Ronnie's not doing too well.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't know what the hell the story is. I don't really know any details that I could tell you. I just know that Ronnie is a really good guy. And if we lose him, man, we lose an ambassador to I don't know what the hell it is.
Blood infection with possible staph infection or something. And
yeah, that comes from...
I don't
know. Dave was saying he's got all these iron rods. And, let me tell you something. I did meet somebody who was telling me they got a back surgery and it helped them. But pretty much every single person I know that's gotten back surgery mostly regrets it. You know what I mean? And all the hip surgery, the back surgery, and all the other shit. I mean, I don't know if, I don't know if
I have hip surgery. I had my hip replaced.
You got your hip replaced. The hip surgeries work, but the back surgeries I'm talking about, the back surgeries, I don't think it's the hip. I think it's his back that fucked him up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I hope Ronnie's all right.
I mean, you got your hip surgery. You walk. My friend, my friend Mike, that owns the gym that I train at, my childhood friend, he got both hips done. He walks fine. A lot of guys, but the back, I'm not sure what it is. All I know is he's got iron rods in him. And Dave said if the fucking iron rods get infection. Now, I don't understand how an iron rod can get infection, but maybe it causes an infection. I don't know.
I mean, it's a foreign object in your body. Maybe.
Yeah, man.
It's metal. It's in your body, so it's kind of weird. So maybe that gets infected. I don't know. It's been there a long time, apparently.
He's such a good guy. What you guys that watching this, what you guys don't realize is that if you ever met Ronnie, he would talk to you. He's not a fucking snob. There's a lot of these other bodybuilders like, "Yo, what's up, man?" You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a shit.
Yep.
They treat you like you'd be like, "Oh, what a rotten fuck." You know what I mean? But he would be like, he would talk with you and he would answer your question. He's a very good guy. He's a rare guy in this industry. I'm telling you.
Yeah, especially for being, probably one of the greatest of all time in bodybuilding.
Yeah, man.
I would consider him the greatest.
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest guys ever. Ronnie.
He really is. I
Miss
hope
Bell,
God he gets through this, man.
I hope he does too. I mean, they said he's awake, but he's got a little long road ahead of him. So
Miss Bell wants to know if the Liver King is a good guy. He probably is a good guy. It's just that he's sinking and he's trying to fucking find a way to, all right, the liver shit went down the tubes. He's still juiced out of his mind. He doesn't look any different to me. I know he does love his family and he made a lot of money. It's time to just call it quits. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it is definitely.
Joe, you're a big wrestling guy, and if you remember Kane, Kane?
Sure.
Now Kane's like a fucking congressman or whatever the fuck he
Yeah.
is. And he's a total straight-laced guy. You would never know he's the guy with the long hair in his face and shit and the mask on and rip out your neck and shit down the hole. That was a shtick. You know what I mean? That was a shtick. Just like The Rock. The Rock says with the eyebrow up and all that. He doesn't do that shit. Because that was a shtick. That was a character that he portrayed. The Rock portrayed a character called The Rock. Now he's Dwayne Johnson. But what I'm saying is, the Liver King was the Liver King for a while. Now it's time to either reinvent yourself. And being an asshole is not the way to do it. Yes, you're getting your name out there, but not in a good way. Nobody wants you on their podcast now. People look at you like you're a fucking mess. You have to sell supplements. Nobody's going to buy that shit now. Nobody's buying into that. So I just think, and I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he loves his family. But I think he's doing this because he doesn't know what else to do. So he's trying to get the number one fucking podcaster on the planet, aside from you and I, the number one podcaster on the planet. I guess he's trying to get him on the show, and maybe he could the tenets of the, and all that bullshit. But I don't know.
Joe Rogan won't have him on at all.
No, now I think Rogan said for what? So he can sit here and bullshit people about, I saw a thing where he was talking about that, where I saw him actually saying stuff. So I don't know.
But yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Thank you, Marcos.
Marcos said, "Love you guys." Miss Bell said, "Yeah, he's nuts. Yeah, he's definitely nuts, man. I don't know. He's lost it. Everything.
I just think it's a shtick, and he's trying to create this new, like a crazy man, almost like trying to be the heel now. Before and he's still doing the tenants shit. Dude, there's no such thing. You're out there driving around in SUVs and little fucking what are those things? All those like quads and shit and fucking no caveman did that shit. You know what I mean? No caveman shotguns. You know what I mean? Go chase a fucking bull with your bare hands and fucking kill it with a spear or something. It's stupid.
Yeah. What's worse, that or the psychic readings?
Both. Both. One's talking to the dead and the other's talking to the stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Larry was getting it done too, I think, about his father, but it didn't seem, nothing.
I don't think Larry was buying into it. Larry's a very straight personality. You know what I mean? Larry's very, very straight. I don't think he was buying. He was just sitting there going, "Well, I don't think so." My father was more like, maybe. But I don't think he bought into it. I didn't talk to him about it, but I think if I talked to him about it, he'd be like, "I don't think he's starting." I could be wrong. Dave was like, yeah. Dave believes in all that shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see, by the way, the other guy that they're not Liver King, but the other guy, Johnny Bravo does a lot of them. The guy, Ben King Azuli. You see this guy? He's got a beard. He's the one that raped some girl. He's got he's really famous.
Oh yeah. I think I did see that. Yeah, he's some.
He's some guy with a beard. Yes, he said he trained in the Shaolin Mountains with the monks and all this stuff. It was crazy. And then people that knew him from high school came on the channel and were like, "The dude was horrible. He got punched in the face and he cried."
Dude, these guys are all, that's the problem with the internet, is it spawned these fucking momos that all think that they're you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And everybody's not funny. Man. It's the fake videos of, people in the house, the husband and wife doing stupid shit. I'm like, who the fuck watches that besides my girlfriend?
Yeah, this guy thinks he's another Wes Watson, Andrew Tate type of thing.
Yeah, he's trying hard to do that shit. And he's
the whole Andrew Tate thinks he's, he's a black belt in MMA.
Got no build. He looks like shit. Get out of here.
Yeah, horrible. Well, apparently he raped some girl that was 15 or something.
Yeah, get away with it though.
Yeah. My brother George says Jake Paul beats Chavez and Chavez gets arrested and deported. What the F? He beat him back to his homeland.
Wait, did they fight?
Jake Paul and Chavez Jr. fought. And Paul beat him.
When was this?
This was Yeah, recently. Yep, last week.
What the fuck was that? I didn't hear any. Usually you hear all this shit. I didn't hear any of this shit.
Well, because he's another, Chavez, another retired old.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Was it Julio Cesar Chavez?
His kid.
Oh, his kid. Oh, wow.
Yeah, not yeah, a different one.
I mean, that's that's like, forget about it.
Yeah,
I want to see Jake Paul fight. I really can't say anything bad about Jake Paul. I mean, he starched Tyron Woodley, and he beat fucking what's his name, the bare knuckle fucking guy, Mike Perry, and people like that. I got to give him credit. I didn't, Mike Perry at one point was, according to Joe Rogan, was the best bare knuckle fighter on the planet. Like he, I don't know. So, but still,
Anthony Joshua or somebody like or Tyson, Fury or something. See what happens.
Or George Zapata.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it, George. I'm fucking around.
Yeah,
you're doing good with what you're doing. Don't even go there.
Yeah, he came back and everything.
Same night as UFC. Okay.
Yeah, Jake Paul was the same night as UFC night that George was out.
What's funny? I didn't hear anything about that. I want to see Jake Paul fight his brother.
Yeah, that would be something. Logan Paul, that.
Yeah, I think Jake Paul would be. Dude, the funniest thing is Jake Paul was not a tough guy until he started doing this internet shit and started taking the babanya. You ever see what he looked like before he took steroids? He was like a happy Larry. But, when you got that kind of money, you could afford every fucking great trainer, you could spend all day, all night in the gym just fucking training for that shit. And, with the greatest training minds and boxing and all that shit, you'd be shocked what you could do. Mm-hmm. Right.
But I'm surprised, though, because once you make that money that he has, you start to really not care. Like Conor McGregor had so much money, he don't want to fight again. He's like he doesn't train hard.
Once he gets his ass kicked, he'll care. I don't know. I mean, listen, at first I thought, what a joke, but he has fucking done really well. Although Tommy Fury is not like the greatest fighter on the planet, but he has done really well with everybody else. I mean, unless Mike Perry took a dive, which I doubt, unless fucking Ben Askren took a dive, which I doubt, unless fucking Tyron Woodley Tyron Woodley's feet went out like this and he went face down like this. Mm-hmm. Like when you saw like in the Little Rascals, Butch going behind the scene with that fucking boxing glove on a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his friend's name? Worm?
Who's that?
Butch and Worm was his friend. Remember from
was
Little
it
Rascals?
Worm or I don't remember. I forgot his name. Yeah. I know you're talking about. Fuck, I forgot about that now.
Yeah, Butch is like little.
He had his little sidekick. Right?
Yeah, sidekick. Yeah, because it was Alfalfa, Spanky, Buckley, Porky.
Remember when Alfalfa was fighting him? Yeah. And he was standing there, and they were behind the thing with the fucking boxing glove, like
trying to hit this curtain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good television. We don't see that anymore.
I know. Well, it's because we're racist. That's racist. Meanwhile,
yeah. When is Paul gonna fight a real fighter? Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I mean, he has fought real fighters. I mean, Mike Perry's not a fucking joke. Tyron Woodley's not a joke. But he knows. I mean, fight Francis Ngannou. Fight him.
Yeah, right? Fight Ngannou. Yeah, George said Jake Paul's a high-level amateur, but not even top 20 boxer.
Yeah, I agree. But you got to give the guy credit, though. Mm-hmm. He was the guy who was like just doing YouTube videos. Him and his brother were running around like nuts and doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? And like insane shit. Not no fucking until that one. Somebody challenged his brother to a fight. That whatever that fucking KSI, whatever that fucking guy's name. Those fucking guys they fought. And then they just started getting into fighting. I'll fight and Jake Paul was like a happy Larry, fucking in the background. And all of a sudden he started taking fucking juice. And started getting all rugged tattoos on him. And, again, you're only as good as the team that's around you. Mike Tyson, who was the fucking greatest, man, that guy was a monster. The minute he peaked at 25 years old, because the minute he got, forget Customato. That's what got him started. Customato handed him off to Jimmy Jacobs and Bill Caton and Kevin Rooney. The minute those guys were out of his life, he was just throwing fucking roundhouses in there like this. You know what I mean? And you're only as good as the team around. When you got this bullshit money that these guys have got, now all of a sudden even the fathers get into that. George, if you're here, right? Even the old man, even I think Jake Paul's father's like, I'll fucking fight somebody. Like get out of here with that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll get him a fight probably and stuff. Him and Mr. G would be a good fight.
Yeah. I would bet on Mr. G. Let me tell you something. Mr. G is like, you ever watch the Three Stooges? I just saw it the other day. Where they did, he maybe be in a ring and you play that music. Remember Larry had to run out and get that radio? I just watched one today, actually, so it's right here on my thing with the wrestling, where he fucking, he had to fucking fight that wrestler, and he smells a certain perfume, and then once he smells that perfume, he gets crazy. Yes. And he has to tickle his feet to stop him, and he was knocking out everybody in the ring and shit. What I'm saying is, George is like that. If you get him fucking crazy in there, if you did something like, tell him your bagels suck, you can't fucking bake for shit, your cookies fucking suck, he would be out there like, I'll kill him, I'll fucking kill him. You know what I mean?
Knight Rider said that Psychic was such a fraud on After Hours. He was just saying things that were easy to guess.
He's not a real. I mean, listen, guys. I don't know the kid. God, he was a nice kid. I kind of liked the kid until he started that psychic shit. But he's a nice kid. He's friends with Dave. He wasn't somebody who's been doing his psychic shit for. I think it's something he just fucking, fell into. But listen, Jesus Christ, when he was alive and he was preaching on the mountain, he never said, "Hey, Judas, Peter, here, grab these baskets, pass it around. Let's make some shuttle." You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. The word of God is free, right? Well, I do believe that if you have some gift from God, that you could talk to the dead and you start charging because that guy charges you, you could go on his site and get a pay. The thing is, once you start doing that, I believe God would take that away. I don't believe in that stuff, to be honest with you. Okay. That's what I'm really saying. Yeah. Ghosts is another thing. I'm not even sure about that, but that stuff, I don't believe you can sit there. When somebody says to me, listen, your father said you were a fucking knucklehead. You used to he caught you masturbating and a fucking whatever. Then I'd be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, but when you could give me some technical deep shit, you know what I mean? Then I'll tell you.
Exactly.
I wanted him to tell me, you tell me where my father buried the money. Because digging up the yard and I can't find it.
None of those psychics can predict the lottery numbers though.
No, they can't predict anything. They can't even tell you who they're talking to. I'm seeing an older man, an older gentleman. Everybody has an older man that passed away, or an older woman. Is it your mom? No, my mom still lives. Oh, it's your grandmother, right? She has gray hair and a little bit of white. Okay, every grandmother has gray hair. You know what I mean? Like, do you understand? I'm over there fucking like telling them what to say to me. But I was just playing with that shit, as you saw.
Yeah, I still had it. Yeah. John Saldy, what's up, man? Hey, guys.
John Saldy. What are you doing, John?
Yep. He said, William Allen said, Jake Paul's fights are nothing but a quick money grab. The fights don't mean anything. They're not even pro fights. That's true.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, get in a ring with Tyron Woodley or Mike Perry. Those fucking guys are killers, bro. Tyron Woodley is one of the few MMA guys. Most of those guys can't really punch hard. You don't see like knockouts like that. They're not like boxers that hit hard. Mike Perry fought bare knuckle. A lot of the MMA is all grappling kicks and shit like that, but, and obviously punching. But Tyron Woodley was considered one of the heaviest punchers in the UFC, and he fucking got starched. And he didn't fake it. He wanted to kill Jake Paul. He didn't like him. And I'm telling you, when I saw him get hit, his feet went out sideways like this and went like that. Face first.
Yep. Marco said last year, a lot of footage from Alabama. This year, almost nothing. Only like 2. What's going on with that page?
A little bit. I got to stick out a little bit more. You're right. There was more footage last year. I'm not sure really. Oh, you know why? Because this year we had Alexei there, who was he's the Russian kid. He's a really great guy. I love that guy. Really, to be honest with you, he's the guy doing the Jumbo Palumbo movie. But last year we had Sid there, and we had what's his name that did all the Tyler that did all of the Lee Priest show. So he was creating the footage.
Lee Priest is in there.
There's
now.
Lee right there. Jake's fights suck.
Jake is a YouTuber. Marco says, because I wasn't there, that's why I sucked in Alabama.
Yes. If Lee was there, we would have had more fun. I don't know if there would have been more footage though, because the footage came from Tyler last year. This year, Alexei was more Jumbo Palumbo, the movie. But when Lee and I were there last year, it was Tyler that was doing all the footage, and a little bit of what's his name, Sid was there doing the footage. Dave just walks around.
John Salty said, Greg remembers Jake is so much bigger than all these guys. He has Perry by 20 pounds easy.
Listen, I'm not saying Jake Paul's some great fighter. I'm saying he does pick and choose his fights. He knows what he's doing. But he's not. You got to give him a little bit of credit, a little bit. I'm not saying give him all he's like a worldly, but let me see him fighting Nagano or somebody like that. But I am saying that for the guys he fought, I thought he did a pretty fucking good job. I didn't think he could beat Mike. Mike Perry was an animal, barefisted. I don't know how he knocked Mike Perry out. I got to be honest with you. I think he got. I don't know. I think he got lucky because I think they fought 10 more times. You know what I'm saying? It would be Mike Perry. That's what I think.
BBQ says, "Is it true Jimmy the Bull is competing in the hot dog eating contest tomorrow?"
No, but Jimmy would enjoy it. So would I. So would Lee, probably.
Night Rider says, we ain't gonna can't sleep if he sits around all day, whatever. Jump people out. I don't know. Miss Bell, 1388. He's not a pro quality. Yes, we know he's not a pro quality.
Miss Bell. I'm sorry. Yes, Jake Paul. He's not pro quality, but you know he does beat these guys. I don't know how the fuck he does it. I don't know. I mean, he didn't beat Tommy Fury, which shocked the shit out of me because of all the guys he fought. I mean, he's beaten Ben Askren. He beat fucking. I didn't think what's his name was going to beat him. Fucking the Diaz, Nate. Even though I love Nate Diaz, okay, it's just that Nate Diaz is a grappler. He's like a spider. You know what I'm saying? You know, I beat Mike Perry. He beat Woodley. He beat some fucking good fighters. I didn't think that, but he's not pro quality. You're right. I'm just saying what he's done. You know, I didn't think he beat the guys he beat.
Miss Bell said, "Money wins his fights."
Well, money wins fights, and also does when you got enough fucking right crew behind you. You know what I'm saying? You'd be shocked. You could take a pussy and turn him into a badass if you had like fucking Hoist Gracie and all them fucking guys. You know, the Gracie's teaching him how to do jujitsu, and you got the right foot, the Chavez's and all them guys teaching him how to, you know, like you know, to help even the Diaz. But they got all these guys that are fucking. His team is like a fucking all-star team. You understand what I'm saying? So of course you're gonna do good in there, you know.
William Allen, hopefully you're feeling better. Let's see.
Yes, Lee, we hope you feel better.
John Tully said he won that fight with Fury, in my opinion.
I kind of thought he did too, but you know, it was too close. I thought he was the worst guy that he fought. I think Fury was the worst fighter of all. That I would have thought. I mean, if you said to me, he's going to knock out one of these two guys, either Perry or Fury. I would have said it's got to be Fury. There's no way he's going to knock out Perry. I mean, he knocked out Perry, but he couldn't knock out Fury. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? You know?
Yeah.
I know what you guys are thinking. They're fixed. I don't know how I feel about the Tyson fight. I don't think it was fixed. I just think he stopped fighting. And then Tyson was throwing haymakers and missing and shit. He's not the Mike Tyson. You can't step away. It's like all you guys that think that Kai Green could come back and win the Olympia. You're out of your fucking mind. He hasn't competed in like 15 years. Your body's not going to respond. You think it will, but it won't. Yeah, he's still jacked, but he's a genetic freak and he takes shit, but he's not jacked. He's not like, he's not like contest or jacked to get like that kind of jacked and that kind of in shape. You're not going to take 15 years off the stage and then come back and start fucking like kicking his ass. It ain't happening. He wouldn't even place in the top 10.
You're right. BBQ Sauce said, "I'm pretty sure the Pro Eating Association will let Gregg compete in a hot dog eating contest without having to eat the roll since he's diabetic."
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, BBQ. So, first of all, I would, if I can tell you how I would win. If they let me sit on a toilet bowl while I was doing it, eating the hot dogs, because this way here I can make room, you know what I mean? For more hot dogs.
Miss Bell said 1387, unlimited babanya.
There you go, unlimited babanya. You're right. You're right.
John Solly said Jake would never make it in MMA. You guys, I mean, can't.
No, I don't think he could make MMA is a different animal. It really is. And you really have to have some time under your belt doing MMA. You're not going to just fucking go in there and learn jujitsu in fucking 1 year and be like a killer in there. It's not going to happen. Those guys that are good at jujitsu started when they were kids. You know what I'm saying? All those Brazilians and all those guys that you see, they've been doing this shit. You know, my mom started taking me to Taekwondo when I was, 6, 7, 8 years old. Then I started taking jujitsu. I've taken wrestling in school. Before you know, their whole life has been fighting. That's what they do. You know what I mean? This is boxing. There's rules. You know what I mean? That's why Jake Paul always says, like, I'll kick Conor McGregor's head. He might, but he's not going to fucking beat him in the ring, in an octagon. Yeah, and I think Conor's washed up, so you can put that in the bank. But I still think Conor would beat him in you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what Nate Diaz did to him, Joe. Look what Nate Diaz did to him in the fucking last round. Nate Diaz knew he was losing, so he said, "You know what? Fuck this. Watch this." And he stood there and he went pop, 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 and he said, "This is if I want, I can choke you out right now, and you'll fucking go underground. Like it's that easy for me if I wanted to. You know what I mean?" He knew. Yep. That's why Diaz says, "Get him in the street with me. Watch what happens." He'll like this. Those guys will take you out in 2 seconds. You're not gonna stand there and be like, "Wait a minute, time out, ding ding." You know what I mean? It's not happening.
No, you're right. Jerry Guns, hi guys, how you doing? Hey, what's up, Jerry?
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Miss Bell said nose candy helps MMA. Larry,
yes.
This is Larry says, Lee, you cannot go to Alabama next year. It's more for the Whack Pack members.
That's so silly. Lee is an icon with us. He is a whack packer. He's a whack job, Lee. I love him. That's why I love him.
Jake is supposed to eventually have a fight in PFL. I know Logan has all-state high school wrestling. Probably Jake wrestled too. Well, maybe.
Yeah, they wrestled, but you know, a lot of guys wrestled in high school. I don't know, were they college guys, and how serious did they take it? I mean, you take somebody like what's the guy that I was fucking around with? Jesus Christ! Come on, Gregg, spit it out. Joe, you see a picture? Was it? Thank you, Joe. He had me in a headlock, fucking around with me. Kurt Angle and Bob Bonham's parking lot. In a parking lot, you know, we were fucking playing around. You take that guy who's an Olympic champion wrestler. Okay, it seems like wrestlers pick up that fucking jujitsu stuff. It's pretty, you know what I mean? Pretty easy. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, believe me, those guys can pick it up a lot. And those guys, Kurt Angle would have made a fucking hell of an MMA fighter. What do you think, Joe?
I think so too. He would have.
And those guys, just like judo people, did the same shit. A lot of those girls. Look at that fucking girl.
Look at Brock Lesnar. Brock
Lesnar's another one. His skills suck. It's just that
he's
such a good college wrestler.
Yeah.
He goes in there and he fucking ram-bams you. He's not really, he probably doesn't even have a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's probably a fucking white belt, blue belt in jiu-jitsu. But he's such a good wrestler, college wrestler, and he's such an animal that he could take you. I mean, same thing with look at Tank Abbott. He couldn't hang with the guys today. But Tank Abbott was knocking dudes out. And I mean, he just had no skill at all. He didn't even take boxing. He was just a barroom brawler. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep, you're right. John Sally said, "Hey, Gregg and Joe, ain't any fireworks tonight? You gonna go see any fireworks?"
I just did fireworks before we started the show. Now there's always fireworks in my neighborhood. You just stand outside and you'd be like, "Oh look!"
Yeah, your barn was one big firework last month.
That's right. That's right. I was on the phone looking outside. Oh shit, the fucking barn's on fire. Wait, the barn's on fire. You know? The shed.
What did John say? BBQ, you're right. He has a contract with them. Lee said, "Oh no life, Larry."
No, that's not that Larry.
Yeah, Scuderi. I love that Lee's documentary dropped his popularity, has kicked him up a notch. He's still all over YouTube.
Well, Lee's a legend in the sport, so you can't. I mean, he didn't even need his documentary is phenomenal, by the way. So it's very well filmed. And the whole thing was a quality doc. But he's already a fucking legend. He does, you know what I'm saying? He didn't need the documentary. He's already a legend. Oh, that's John Scuderi that just said that?
Yeah, John Scuderi, yes. John Scuderi.
Oh shit. John, how you doing? John, I still got to set up the bidet. I've been busy over here, so I'm gonna do it though, and I'm gonna take some photos. A video.
Jerry Guns, MMA guys are like boxers and wrestlers. It's not the same MMA.
No, you can't compare. It's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges, says Ronnie Coleman.
What does it say? John Soley, Gregg, what is his doc called?
Whose doc?
Oh, I guess maybe the Priest documentary. Maybe that's it.
Oh, ask him. It's
Rebel Without a Cause.
Okay.
On Amazon, yes, on Amazon and Vimeo.
Rebel Without a Cause, yes. And Lee's a fucking legend. Forget about it. He's everywhere.
BBQ Sauce says, Lee is mine and my father's favorite bodybuilder of all time. World-class legend.
Dude, how can you not love Lee? His fucking, he to this day, they still use his like arm shots and all that stuff as like the pinnacle of the sport. Supposedly, I think that even they used his body like for like when they did the Hulk movie, like they used his his like arm structure and forearms and like the whole, you know what I'm saying? Because he, you know, I mean, look, in my opinion, he's the greatest of the shorter bodybuilders ever. That's, and I'm not saying because he's my friend, but I mean, who's better?
That's right.
I can't name one, in my opinion.
Yep. AR says, hey guys, are there issues between you, Larry, Dave, all over Alabama? Because Dave took a shot at you again on After Hours.
No, we actually got along really well with Larry. Larry's a really good guy. I'll tell you what, he looks younger in person, and he's a good looking guy. He's a good looking guy, Larry, and he's pretty fucking built underneath all that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's a good guy. He just has his personality is just, he's not a, you know, a jokester. You know what I'm saying? He's not a kind of guy that, like, you know, but he's a good guy. I think him and Lee actually would have got along really well if he was out there.
Lee says, my mom has those automated toilets, wash, blow her hair, etc. Days.
Lee, John Scuderi sent me one. It's over here somewhere. It's got a remote control for the bidet, and it shoots the water up your ass. I haven't hooked it up yet because I'm turning 65. I got to do all the stupid Medicare. I don't want to get into all that shit that I've been doing every fucking day. I'm down on Social Services, Social Security, you know, because they put you on Medicare. I don't want to be put on Medicare. I have no choice, though. You know what I'm saying? They're fucked up. But I don't want to even get into that. But I haven't had a chance, but I'm going to hook it up.
Okay.
Lee, so next time you come to my house, we could wash our asses together on that bidet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. BBQ sauce says Larry's the type of guy who doesn't speak much, but when he does, you listen. Wealth of knowledge. Not to mention,
he's actually a very good, friendly guy. But it's just everybody's different. Me and Lee are very like outgoing and say shit. You know, Lee likes to say like crazy shit. You know, I say crazy shit, a little different, but we both are like crazy guys. Whereas Larry's a very mundane, but he's a really good guy. I actually, you know, I enjoyed getting to know him. He's a good man. You know, I was breaking his balls so bad, and he was laughing the whole fucking time. Not in a bad way. I was joking around because that girl, you know, Larry was helping her out. He did a good job with her, you know. But I kept saying, you two should hook up. Look at the, you know, Larry. We were all eating like gavones. I got fucking steak and shit in my fucking mouth. And we're all sitting there, and Larry's just sitting there like this, you know, and his food is in front of him. And we're like, Larry, what are you doing? Why don't you eat? And he's like, because I'm waiting for her to get her food. And we were like, wow, what that's a gentleman. We're fucking gavones. You know what I'm saying? We're not waiting for nobody to get their fucking food. You know what I mean? And, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we would break it. And then the night show, Larry's wearing nice shoes and slacks and a nice button down. I mean, he was, you know, he's a classy guy. We're all standing at Dave Palumbo's in shorts with his fucking feet pointed, you know, like this and shit, you know, and the fucking big clods on it, you know, and a t-shirt. And Larry, and he's supposed to be the big, you know, it's his, you know, like the big Willie at the show. And Larry's over there with a nice fucking shirt, slacks, and fucking shoes. Yeah, he's just, you know, he's just a guy. He's not like he doesn't play around like we do, but he was taking the heat that I was busting nuts really big time. And he was laughing. You know, I don't get obnoxious, but I play, you know what I'm saying? I kept fucking saying, Larry, you and the girl, you know, you two should get the room tonight. You know, you buff on Google and shit. Like I was saying all kinds of shit. And, you know, she was laughing and, you know, and Larry just sits there, you know, he is loving it, but he was a very classy guy. I had a good time with Larry, and I respect him. He's just not, you know, when me, Lee, and Jimmy are together, we're all like fucking nuts and stuff, you know, but he's different. He's just not that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Dizzy Willow, yo, Dizzy Willow.
Dizzy Willow. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
Anthony said Alabama looked lame without Lee. He's the life of the party.
Well, Lee is definitely just stirs the pot. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Stirs the pot. He is.
Barbecue sauce said the Momo running for mayor in New York will fix your Medicaid.
Yeah. No. It has nothing to do with that. It's when you turn 65 years old in this country, they put you on Medicare. Okay. It doesn't matter what you have. You still can have other, your regular, because I have other medical benefits and stuff, not Medicaid, but when it says I have other shit, and they can still put you, but it has to go that way. So everything changes when you turn 65. They change over a lot of shit. Yep. Look, I was there today. They give me a fucking handbook, you know, Medicare, you know. You have to go. You know, this is for because you're
They
old.
give you that book, yeah. They give you that book to go through.
I have a paper smelling fetish. I can't help it, but I can't read a book without smelling it. So you have to do that shit. You'll see when you turn 65. You'll see your benefits change. Everybody, it's just a thing. Nothing you can do about it.
Jerry Gunn said Lee's a great guy.
Lee's an awesome guy. There he is.
Lee said Anthony, LOL.
Yeah, no, Lee's a fun guy to be with. You know what I'm saying? He's a fun guy, and he's definitely the greatest bodybuilder. So I don't want to hear anybody say shit because that fucking guy beat, you know, the fact that he's not, you know, tall like myself. We're both pretty much close to the same height. The thing is though, is that he beat fucking big motherfuckers on stage too, and that guy, you know. He's well respected. When you talk to any of the other bodybuilders, they all love him.
Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, but his personality. Most bodybuilders, Lee will talk to you. He may get obnoxious at times on the internet because he trolls fucking. You know, he's giving it back. He's just giving it back to them, and he'll say outrageous shit to shut him down. But he will talk to anybody. He's very friendly. He takes pictures with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I know Lee really well. He is a good guy. You know, he's not a lot of these bodybuilders. Let me tell you guys something. A lot of these guys, even the current guys, have no personality. And you meet them and they're like, yeah, what's up? What's up? Lee's not like that. I'm just gonna tell you that now.
John Scuderi said, I'm going to send Lee a bidet, but I'm afraid he will install a hidden camera lid and go live and drop it.
You should send Lee a bidet. He needs it. Clean out that shithole.
BBQ said, Lee, have you seen the new Jurassic World yet?
Oh, dude, I bootleg all that shit. And motherfucker, I could get it, but it's cam. I gotta wait till it becomes not cam, you know, when it becomes HD. Yeah. But I bootleg all the fucking. I love those movies. Jurassic.
I didn't see. No, I am going to Superman premiere though next week.
Oh, Superman! New Superman. Okay. I'm like I'm more into the Jurassic Park stuff than the superhero stuff, but I do like Superman. But I love Jurassic Park, all that shit, man. My partner Paul would be like, "Yeah, bro, let me tell you something. You throw me in a pit with a fucking what else? T-Rex, bro, and you give me a knife, I'm fucking that thing up." And I'm like, "Oh God," you know what I mean? He used to tell me, "Bro, you throw me in a pit with a grizzly bear." Giant grizzly bear, and as long as I got a knife, I'm fucking that thing up. And then later on, we were outside and we were in a parking lot, right, in New York, and a fucking deer runs out and he jumps up on his car and fucking like get away from the deer. And I'm like, dude, that's a deer. I thought you were gonna fight a fucking a grizzly. I love him though. He's fucking, you know, he's a guinea from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So hey, fucking, let me tell you something. You know,
Jerry Guns, all RX Mules guys get along. It is a show.
Yeah, we all get along. Everybody gets along. We ball break. Lee's a huge ball breaker. I ball break. Lee ball breaks. You know, but we all ball break.
This guy Larry keeps saying, Lee, why didn't you want to fight Larry when he challenged you and put you in your place?
Don't listen to that, Lee. Don't stop that, fake Larry.
Lee said, Larry's case.
Larry didn't fucking. You know who started that? Dave. And he didn't do it with Lee. He did it with Jimmy. He started it with Jimmy. He started saying, Larry, would you? So Larry, you're not afraid of anything. Would you fight Jimmy? And then Larry's like, well, if he started trouble with me, you know. And then that turned into this whole fucking thing. And that's why when I put the kibosh on, I'm the one who put the kibosh, because it's Dave, you started all this shit. Because Jimmy don't bother nobody. And let me tell you something. Nobody is kicking Jimmy Pletch's ass. I can tell you that now. Nobody's kicking Jimmy's ass. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's a fact. Let me tell you something. He's the nicest fucking guy. He's a giant teddy bear. And Lee will tell you that. He's a giant teddy bear, Jimmy. He's the fucking best, bro. I love him. But if you ever got him pissed, or if there was ever a fight breakout and he's on your side, trust me, heads are going to fucking roll.
Yep. The dude 1983 said, Greg, what do you think about Mike Metzer one set to failure method?
It's not for everybody. You know, I do that with only my quads. That's the only thing I do that for, because I felt that's where it works best. But then for my hamstrings, I do 45 sets in 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everybody's there. I think you have to find what's right for you. You know what I mean? If I was on shit, bro, forget about it. My legs, I wouldn't even be able to walk. They'd be that big. My legs grow easily. Everybody has that one body part. You know what I mean? I'm just saying to you, my legs and my back. The thing is, though, is you have to find what's right for you. Everybody's different. You can't go by one guy. Arnold tried Mensch's routine. He did it with fucking Arthur Jones, and he said the worst thing that happened to me was I got small. That could happen. The worst thing that happened to me is the worst thing that could happen to bodybuilder happened to me. He said, and that is I got smaller and smoother. Everybody's different, but then you'll get other guys that swear by that. I have a friend who used to train twice a week. But he'd do his whole body in one day. His whole body, his legs, calves, back, up. And he was a monster. And he wasn't on juice either. He was just but he also had, like, he was just white fiber. He just, he grew, but I'm just saying, everybody's different. You have to find what's right for you.
Winter Attack said, Greg, that RX psychic was sure hard to listen to, wasn't he? He even thought, I'm sure he was a nice guy.
Listen. He wasn't a real psychic. He's friends with those guys. They all know him for years. Now, I'm not saying he's not look, Nick, if you're watching this, I'm not saying he's not a real. I actually like the kid. He seems like a nice kid. But he was a whatchamacallit, COVID. He was I used to say Corona. But he's a nice kid. And they know him. But they're friends with him. All of a sudden he decided, I guess he started doing his psychic shit. Maybe you read a book on how to do so. I don't know, but I don't take any of that shit. I'm sorry, but I don't take any of that shit serious. Until somebody could say, listen, your mother told me this, and like private shit. You were masturbating since you were 6. And I was like, holy shit, she told you that? And I'd be like, holy shit, you must have really talked to her. But,
And Windward Attack. What up, Joe?
What's up, my brother?
What's going on, man? What do we got here? This guy's saying something here. Anthony said, I became a fan of Armand when he left after our show of that bootleg Jersey medium.
Listen, you know what's funny? I got to be honest with you. I almost went with him, but I respect that. I don't want to disrespect the kid Nick. I like the kid Nick. I really do. I think he's a nice kid. I don't take any of that shit. It's just that I let it roll up beat. But I got to be honest with you. I love Armand's another one. We were out there and let me tell you something. Armand is a big fucking guy in person. That's a big motherfucker. He was big. You know what I mean? He had fucking big fucking thighs and she was a big boy. But I respect that. I agree with them. Listen, I do the rosary every day. I'm wearing rosary beads right here. See, I'm just saying, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. There's a difference. I believe in, God, no, I don't belong to any like club. I was born Catholic, but I'm sitting for like, Catholicism,
Yeah, there said any real fan of sports knows Lee was one of the best of all time.
Without a doubt, dude. You can't take that away from Lee Priest. You cannot. I'm not saying because he's my friend. I am not saying. I said it way before him and I were even friends. The guy's one of the greatest ever, but the thing is, he also has a personality. Nobody in the sport has a fucking personality. You know why? Do you know why you see him all over the internet? Do you know why? Because you can talk to the fucking guy. Because he can talk. He's not afraid to express his opinions.
Nope.
All right? He's not afraid to talk. He's not afraid to. You can talk to any one of you guys just like he's not like he's above you. He could. That's what that with his physique being phenomenal and his personality is a great personality. That's a winning combination. Because a lot of guys that have great physiques wouldn't give you the fucking time of day. I can mention a few guys here that you would not even want to wouldn't even talk to you.
Barbecue Sauce said, did you see the trailer of season 2 of the Terminal List, Lee?
What the hell's that?
I don't know. I don't know what the Terminal is. Yeah, that should be good. Season 2.
I never heard of that. What is that? Is that like a Netflix thing or something?
Yeah, it's a show or something. JT said, imagine if just half the BBRs in Olympia had half the balls Lee did and stood up instead of stood silence. That's right.
Well, why do you think Lee got his listen? Lee would have been the 202 Mr. Olympia and possibly the 212 Mr. Olympia, because if he didn't retire before, he would have won that too. But what I'm saying is he had that in the bag. They stole his prime from him. You know that, right? They stole it from him. And one of the reasons why he stole it from him was because he was one of the only guys with the balls to stick up for the other bodybuilders and say it the way it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, you understand? I mean, not for nothing, but if Jim Mannion was a serial killer, Dave Palumbo would be like, well, maybe he wasn't really like, maybe he did it under the influence of something. It really didn't mean to, because you can never call it the way it is. You understand? Oh, by the way, Dave, if you really believe in all that, you should really talk to Rich Piana and see if he was really murdered and see if Leo Rex was really murdered, you know?
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to say it on this show. I think I might have said it. I don't know if I said it on Joe, the other show with Joe, but I'm going to say it on here anyway. Excuse me. Corona. What's his name? Dave Palumbo.
Yep.
Dave, if you're watching this, I got a fucking little thing with you here. Ready?
Good.
Your sister is a psychic, and does it, readings and stuff for people. And Nick did the readings, and I know that you believe in that. Yet, you are very close friends with Chris Angel. You went to high school with Chris Angel. And Chris Angel is one of the leading authorities saying that none of that shit's real and will offer $1 million if one person can even prove. Show me. Give me a reading right now, he would say. Give me a reading. I'm thinking of something. Give me a reading. Tell me right now. Talk to one of my dead relatives. Tell me what they're saying. To give me one proof. One proof. Here's $1 million right here. You get this $1 million right there. They can't do it. Get them on. It's funny because 1 minute you're, I know how much, Dave, I love you, but I know how much you're close with Chris Angel. You fly out to and see him out in Las Vegas. Why don't you get him on the show? Get your sister on, get Nick on, and let's do some readings. Let's see how quick he fucking shoots at us guy. Lee Priest, what do you think, huh? Is that a good one or what? Huh?
I saw a Chris Angel show, by the way.
Yeah, but he's the first one to say there's no such thing as magic. It's not magic.
Exactly.
And he did say that you ever see the show where Chris Angel sits there and magicians perform for him and they do all these tricks?
Yeah.
Say, there's no such thing. There's nobody that can talk to that. Prove it to me. I will give you $1 million. I mean, he actually had a fight on stage with a guy over that shit. Over somebody who said, "I'm talking to the dead right now," and he's like, "You're not talking to no dead." And he figured out how the guy was doing it.
Yep.
That's one of his things. He offers $1 million to if anybody can prove to him, and so far nobody's done it.
No, exactly. I've been to one of his shows in Vegas, Chris Angel. It was actually pretty good, and you can't take pictures during the show. They have people watching to make sure no one takes cameras. But a couple people did, and you can tell why they do it is because you can
certain
see
animals.
The wires or whatever bullshit they're using. Yeah,
it's just like some of these guys you see on the internet. There's photos of them where they put their arm close to the phone. Like look at the size of that thing. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, it's because it's closer to. It's all like look, my hands. Look how big my one hand is compared to my other. The thing is just that it's all bullshit. And he says there's no such thing as magic. It's an illusion. He doesn't really walk up the side of a building. I told you. I was talking with the Peter about this. He said, I was walking in New York City. And I can't remember when it was. It was in the 90s. And it was I remember it was a hot summer day. And I'm walking right in Midtown. And all of a sudden I'm passing like we look like, it's right where Fox News is and shit. And I see all these people out there. And I walk in front of all the people, see what the fuck they're looking at. And I see David Blaine sitting in a big block of ice. That's, if you ever see the pictures of him sitting there, I was right there. And I went like this to him. I was pointing out and doing it. And he waved to me. And he went, he pointed back on like this to me. Now, he didn't know who I was and I didn't know who he was. But I was like, holy shit. I didn't even know who he was at the time. He wasn't famous like that yet. I mean, maybe in his little cult thing he was. Well, I never heard of no David Blaine then. I know who he is now. But what I'm saying is I was there when he was in a block of ice. That shit is a different story. They condition themselves with shit. That's a crazy fucking thing. Did you ever see when he stood on a pole? Like the telephone pole or whatever the fuck that thing was? And he stood there for like 24. Do you know how hard that is to do? You couldn't stand in one spot in a room. You think you can.
No, you can't.
Do it for 10 minutes.
You definitely can. You definitely can.
I can definitely do it. As a matter of fact, I have to take a quick step. I got to pee really bad. Hold on.
Go ahead. Anthony Zamboli said, Joe, who is your Mount Rushmore of favorite wrestlers of all time? Well, I'm going to have to put, if you want money makers and the people who are the most popular, be Rock, Stone Cold, Hogan, and probably Ric Flair. Those four. My favorite personally would be Rock, Hogan, Savage, and maybe Andre the Giant. those four, because those kind of change wrestling. But the money makers were definitely Rock, Stone Cold, Hogan, Flair. Let's see what we got here. AR said, Greg, what do you think of Lee Haney choosing to go with the IAFS instead of the NPC, which they'll share? I'll have to ask Greg when he gets back. AR. Joe, I missed the first 10 minutes of the show. Any good stories from with your brother UFC 13? Yes, he was with a lot of the UFC fighters. They were filming a documentary. He's got footage with all the UFC fighters, but it's going to be really good stuff. Hey, Greg, AR had a question for you.
Who's that? AR. Okay.
Hey, Greg, what do you think of Lee Haney choosing to go to the IAFS instead of NPC for a show?
What the fuck is the IAFS? Is that a bodybuilding thing now?
I guess, maybe. I don't know what it is.
Wait, what do you mean? Explain that to me. Do you know what that is, Joe?
I have no idea. IAFS instead of the NPC.
I'm thinking of metformin. IAFS.
I don't know what that is.
Wait, International Anal Fuckers Association, or I don't know.
John Scuderi said, Joe, Greg, my ex-wife recently started doing psychic readings for people, and now I'm around her and I wear a tinfoil cap.
John, you should wear a meatball wedge on your head. No, that's fine. A tinfoil cap. John, look, John, you're a friend of Dave's, and I don't know if maybe you even know Chris Angel, because I know, he's from down where you live and, where you were from. And that fucking Chris Angel is like totally against that shit. Like willing to explode anybody. He would challenge anybody. And that's Dave's thing. Dave believes all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dave should have his sister and Nick on, and then have Chris Angel on and see who pulls out, fuck the IFBB.
And they just, plastic trophy.
Etc. Right idea. Fuck shows. Bodybuilding is really, it's hard to call that a sport. You know that, right? It's a matter of opinion. There's not a bodybuilding show on the planet that somebody's won. And you say, well, I didn't think this guy won. I thought that guy should win, or this girl should have won, and that over that girl. It's all a matter of opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Barbecue sauce. Chris Angel was on Gutfield.
Yeah, I saw him. He doesn't talk much. I don't know anything. Like, is it in a little like withdrawn thing there? But I saw him. I saw him on Gutfeld. I watch that show every night. It's fucking funny.
What do you think of P. Diddy, by the way?
I mean, I think he's a piece of shit.
Yep.
And I think that he gets away with shit, and it kills me to see him get away with shit. But at the same time, all those people that were there at those freak offs and all those things, whether they were getting fucking porked in a can or doing whatever, they stayed there because they got something out of it. They knew that, it's the same thing with Epstein, not Epstein, well, even Epstein, fucking Harvey Firestein, fucking Bill Cosby. Those girls that they all were with, we're all seeking something. You understand? Fame, contracts, this, that, the other thing. So it's not like, he didn't grab some girl in a van, like off the street and then fucking bring her home, tie her up and do 6. Those are willing participants. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, did he I think he should have gotten in trouble more for the racketeering and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And now he's getting guilty of the prostitution shit, which I don't see that as prostitution, because these girls were willing participants. You can't do shit after back in 1995, he had me talk. Well, what took you fucking 30 years to come, with that shit now? Mm-hmm. You understand? Well, why now? Mm-hmm. Why? Because your contracts are your Sunday's news on Monday, and you're not even good looking anymore. So now you got to do something to get Chicago. I don't like him. If he stays in jail for the rest of his life, I don't give 2 shits. But these people are all like, you know what I mean?
How much time do you think he's going to get?
Huh?
How much time do you think he's going to get? It might be time served too. I don't know. You don't know what he's going to get.
He's like a ball of dong, and they're like dong beetles, Joe. I know you like when I say that. They're like dong beetles. They're attracted to that big ball of shit. You understand? Mm-hmm. And then you say, well, look at those fucking poor beetles. You know what I mean? They're stuck eating shit, but that's what they want. They want that shit. They're willing to do this. Listen, somebody said to one of these girls, listen, for the price of fame, all you have to do, eat that right now. And they'd be like, oh, give me oh my God, that was good spit. They don't care. They'll do anything. You understand? If it means them making money, get famous, maybe becoming a rap star themselves, Cassie, all these people. Why didn't she go to the cops that day? Why doesn't she, it's just all, I'm sorry, but birds of a feather flock together. They're all fucking shit people. You understand what I'm saying? He's a ball of shit and they're dong beetles. It's all the same to me.
Mm-hmm. Jerry Gunn says bodybuilding is fixed.
Some of bodybuilding is fixed. I've witnessed shit that, you guys know, Joe, I've told you certain things that I know,
AR, it's a new bodybuilding league outside the NPC. That's what was going on.
Oh, really? It's never gonna. I mean, the NPC is too strong. There's too much money in it. I hope. Listen, God bless him. I'd like to see him do good, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
No,
the NPC is too strong.
Yeah, John Solly, guys, what's going on with our Yankees? They're playing off. They are playing bad.
Wait, John, I'm not. When I left. It's on over there. I can't see.
What's the score?
I don't know. I'll tell you right now if that score is on. When I left, it was 1-1 when we started the show.
I thought they were losing.
Oh, fuck. They're losing 6-3.
Oh, God.
They suck, bro. You listen, Anthony Volpe, we were sold on a fucking bunch of bullshit. 30-30 guy, bullshit. He leads the major leagues in errors, and he just said he has 9 he was caught stealing 7 times, and he has, I think, 9 stolen bases or something like that, or 6. I don't know. It's just he's terrible, bro. Terrible. He's batting .220. Bring up George Lombard Jr. We have no third baseman, bro. You can't. You know, I don't want to get a lot of guys on here. Don't want to hear that shit. Jazz Chisholm's not a third baseman. He's a second baseman. There's a lot of shit. Pitching sucks. You know, all the hitters overrated. You know, it's just all bullshit.
John Saldi said, whatever happened to with Diddy and those scratched off serial numbers? I have no idea.
Listen, I watched some of the news guys, like, you know, the fucking, you know, that are like, you know, they're also ex-prosecutors. And they were all saying, well, we would have thought they would have got him on the racketeering and everything. I don't know about the prostitution, because there's willing participants. They're getting him on the promoting prostitution and all that shit. How do you promote prostitution when it's a willing participant? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and not just prostitution, but like almost like kidnapping and all this other shit. I don't understand that. These people were willing. He didn't have girls tied up in his basement and shit like that. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you know, Cassie, you know, when she just laid there, he kicked her, you know, but she should have went right to the fucking cops and had his ass arrested.
She should have, you know, but
instead there's other pictures of her on the red carpet afterwards with him, you know. So it's hard. It's hard. Just think when you know some dude that beats his fucking girl and she's been in it for 10 years taking the punches. After a while, like, you know, it's hard. I mean, I feel sorry for you, but it's hard to feel sorry when you just don't fucking do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Marcos, Greg, whatever happened to Tyler?
You know, I'm not sure. He was the one that doing Lee and Jimmy, you know, the priest and the confessional show. He was the one doing it. I'm not sure. Huh?
He's not there anymore? He's not there?
You know, he could be still doing something, but he wasn't at the show. Now, maybe, you know what? Maybe he was with, what's his name? What's that pro show that they just did? Sid went to a pro show at the same time we were in Alabama, and it was all kinds of footage, and I don't think it was Sid filming it. I think it was like Tyler might have filmed it. So maybe that was Tyler. I'm not sure. But he wasn't with us. Last year he was with us. That's why there was so much footage, because it came from him. He wasn't with us this year. This year we had Alexi, but Alexi was there to do the Jumbo Palumbo stuff. So it's a different story.
Lee said, it's like the whole Harvey Weinstein. They're all over. They all want to be famous.
That's what I just said. I said, Lee, I just said the same shit. Harvey Weinstein, all those girls, you know, he's an ugly, fat, he looks like fucking Fred Flintstone and shit like that. He's ugly, fucking fat, short, stocky motherfucker. But you know what? The girls were there because if you want to get somewhere in the industry, all of a sudden you're getting movie roles, singing roles, all kinds of bullshit. So you're going to do it. Then 30 years later, you get some fucking chick that said, you know, Harvey Weinstein touched me inappropriately. Oh, please. You know what I mean? You kept going back to his apartment, though, right? You know, I just hard to feel bad for these people. They're not pulling people off the street in a van. Harvey Weinstein did. What about Bill Cosby? Same thing. He used to fucking touch girls in apartment and, you know, put shit in their drinks and shit. But they didn't fucking get him till years and years and years later, right?
Mm-hmm.
After they already got their role for movies. One of them, I forgot, was a big movie, became a movie star. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? It's look, I don't like any of those guys. Harvey Weinstein, you know, fucking Cosby, even Epstein, fucking, you know, and P. Diddy, fuck him. He could rot in jail for I care. But I would say get him on a racketeer. He had all kinds of illegal guns. He had machine guns and all that shit. What happened with that shit? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You get him on a prostitute. You know why? Because he's going to get this. That's what he's going to get, right?
Yeah. He's going to get slapped on the wrist.
That's what he's going to get. because those are the lesser charges. They let them off on the big charges.
Yep, it's true. Well, Greg, we got to wrap up. It's an hour.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Swear to God.
Holy shit.
Yeah, got to go. So everyone have a great 4th of July in the chat. Thank you. 4th of July.
Wow, that was fucking fast, Joe. This one was even faster than normal. I feel like it's been 15 minutes.
Yeah, it goes by quick, man. John Saldy, Miss Bell, everyone in the chat, have a really happy 4th. Be safe. Be good,
man.
guy.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day.
That's right. Bullshit you hear. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Let me just say one thing. All these people still crazy. They're not going to get the Medicaid. That's they're talking about putting the fucking, savages who ran across the border. They're all getting Medicaid, free shit, free this, free that. Well, you're a citizen, you don't. But let me just say, when the people that come over here to pick the crops, pick the fruits, and, all of that stuff, those are migrants that have visas. Nobody's going in. You don't see ICE guys run into a fucking string bean field like this. I just tripped over broccoli, motherfucker. Going like, I got me a fucking. No, because those people have been coming here. They have a visa.
They have visas, of course.
They go actually back and forth between Mexico and the United States like this. They have visas. Those are not the people picking the crops aren't the ones. And nobody's taking your home health aid and all any of that shit. Those people working, they're not doing that shit. If they do get one of them, it's because they're with an MS-13, a gangbanger. And they said, if you're with a gangbanger and you're here illegally and you're his girl, even though you're not doing anything wrong, you're going. Wow. So there you go.
Wow.
Stop listening to the fucking left. They're full of shit. Nobody's your grandmother's not going to lose her fucking Medicaid. That's not true.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, Greg. We'll talk to you a little bit. Everyone have a good 4th of July. We'll talk to you later.
Yes, have a great 4th of July.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.